Hello, welcome to the most unique top 10 from Magic the Gathering cards that are popular this month. And well, this will be the last one from this year because in December we will do a year review with a lot of prices for multiple cards. And well, let's just start off for today. We have Storm, first of a Secret Lair from Marvel, and of course Marvel is really popular, so I won't touch on that for every card. Also, it's a new card, same for every Marvel card, so just imagine I said that for everyone. In this case, it's also a girl, so that makes her popular. It's Temur, which is a very popular color combination. Definitely for cards that combine creatures with instants and sorceries, which Storm does, and people love the Storm mechanic as well. And in this case, she says whenever she deals combat damage to a player, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn has Storm. So if you can get that Storm counter up to a really high number, you can play any instant or sorcery, and it can be as big as you want, and you can copy that spell. So I think that's what people really like. Also great body as a creature, so flying, vigilance, and the 3/4 for just 4 mana is a really easy creature to get in with and protect yourself at the same time. Next up, a card that returns for the third time, and if you don't know, this is why this top 10 is a little bit more unique. Every time a card returns, we do something different with the card, or we show a different aspect of it, and in this case we will look at the art of Valgavoth. We always do for the third time, so just make sure one certain card is really popular in the month and you will see the art review from me. For Valgavoth, this art is by Chris Gold, only has one art, and I think this is actually perfect for the card, this art, because it's a little bit blurry, which means that there is a lot of mystery left with Valgavoth. We have seen him defeated once, but he will return probably in the future, and I think people really like the darkness around Valgavoth, but Valgavoth himself is actually a character that is really interesting as well, because he has been growing so long inside of a cocoon, and we really must wonder what happens when Valgavoth actually gets out of his cocoon, if he ever does. I think the choices of color are really good as well. We see red and black, which are of course the Rakdos colors, return, which is a must, but they are used very well. The black really shows us the darkness of Valgavoth and how you really aren't always able to see his influences. The white is all about the cocoon, the soft silk, and the fact that he is still growing and getting stronger. And the red adds a sense of fear or something. It makes us fear Valgavoth more because it's a color of danger, and the red lights that streak from his one eye apparently really make it seem like it is looking at us right now directly and we should run. So I think this is a perfect execution. Next up is a returning card that has been returning for a long time and will probably in the future. What we will do for the Ur-Dragon this time is a mythology parallel. I've tried pop culture, but didn't really get further than Beyonce or something, someone that is really big in pop culture. But I chose Tiamat for today, and I think this will be even more epic. So let's talk first about the Ur-Dragon. The Ur-Dragon is a mythic cosmic entity. It's an avatar, which means that it embodies all the dragons, and in this case he's the father of all dragons. Every flap of his wings made sure that a lot of dragon eggs fell to the ground, survived for some reason, and then went on to become very important dragons in the history of Magic the Gathering. Some key themes that I will link to Tiamat in a bit are creation, primordial creation, because the Ur-Dragon is the origin of dragons, and it links him to the very essence of the multiverse in a way. He has dominion over the elements. In the dragon's case, he has the ability to manipulate every color of the color pie from Magic the Gathering, and he transcends his myth. The Ur-Dragon exists beyond the mortal plane and almost becomes a god in this way, because he is an avatar. He is not really touchable, and really has been creating everything that we see in Magic the Gathering. Now for Tiamat, they are a primordial goddess, and they are the personification of the ocean, so that makes them elemental in that way. And she plays a crucial role in creation myths, which I think is a line to the Ur-Dragon. And they are both a creator and a destroyer, which returns in the fact that the Ur-Dragon is a dragon. Some key aspects of Tiamat are, again, the cosmic origins. As a primordial being, Tiamat is tied to the creation of the universe. Dragon images, because while they are not always depicted as a dragon, later interpretations often show her as a sort of serpent-like dragon, and they are always, or very often, seen with dragons and stuff like that. And the fact that the conflict and renewal of her stories really tie in with the Ur-Dragon, which keeps on returning and I think never dies, really show that they are, I think, linked in this way. They are both primordial beings, they have divine authority, they are depicted as dragons. So I think there is a link. Now, of course, not saying that they are the same or something, but I just thought this was a fun way of doing this. Let me know what you think. Next up is another new card from Marvel. So the same reasons here. I think people really like this as well because he is American. And Magic the Gathering is really popular in America. So I think Captain America, because of that, might be extra popular here as well. And I think the ability, it seems a little bit generic. You get for 3 mana to unattach an equipment and deal a bunch of damage to 1, 2 or 3 targets. It's thematic, it's a really cool design, but really not that unique in Magic the Gathering to deal a bunch of damage. But it can get to be a lot of damage because we have Excalibur, which can be easier to attach to Captain America. It's 12 mana, and this is a way to deal 12 damage, divided maybe if you want, but you could just deal 12 damage or something. I think people like that as well. Next up is Wolverine, again, new card from Marvel. And I think it's a bit funny because Wolverine works the best, I would say, with ways to have him deal damage to a bunch of other creatures and grow him to be a really big creature that will then again also deal double damage. So basically what you want to do is build a Pyromancer deck around Wolverine, and Wolverine won't be using his claws but will be shooting fire from his hands all the time. So not really sure how that gets to be thematic in Magic the Gathering, but if you look at the card on its own, it's really thematic, but if we look at it in that way, I think it's really not. I think you want to deal damage to all creatures, grow Wolverine to be a really big creature, and then deal double damage to your opponents as well to kill them. I think that's what happens. Next up is a thing I am really dreading because I hate dolls. Arabella, Abandoned Doll, has been returning for a bit now, and I think it's because of her strong ability that really pairs well with token synergies. So I think she's a cool card, but the art really creeps me out. It's from JP Targete. Do I say that right? I don't know. But this art, yeah, I really don't want to dive into it really deeply, but I must. So Arabella, first of all, has been a doll that has been thrown away and then it kept returning. It's that stuff. Her eyes around the porcelain are cracked, but her eyes itself aren't. So that seems to mean that the eyes themselves are real and actually looking at us. She is surrounded by her friends. One of them apparently is crying oil and many spiders are crawling around it, seemingly meaning that it is controlled by the spiders. Then to the left of that is a teddy bear with multiple spider eyes and a really menacing fang. To the ground there's a really small one that crawls, and I really hate that because I always fear with dolls that they are going to walk around my bed and I don't see them and then they pop up all of a sudden. But okay, we're looking to the right now. It's another girl, it's a sort of clown girl, and her flower has teeth. Her belly has teeth. I don't know. It's just a lot to take in. In the background, we see warped staircases. We see the windows leaking in light, and I'm not sure you should be glad about that. And then the flags above have screaming heads on them as well. I think there's a lot to hate here. Next up, another new card, in the sense that she got a new art more than anything. Has been popular this month, and I think it's really cool that Lathril gets a popularity boost just because she got a new art. We have seen this a little bit in the last months just, and I think it's really cool that many cards get a sort of second coming and get the love that they maybe deserve. So new art, the art's really cool. She's getting her blade, she has the elves around her supporting her. She is a great elf commander because whenever she deals combat damage to a player, you create that many 1/1 elves. Can also deal a bunch of damage by tapping 10 untapped elves and then deal 10 damage to each opponent and you gain 10 life. So there are a bunch of things you can do with her. She plays many roles in a sort of deck that already wanted to have many cards fill many roles. So I think she's a perfect elf commander and also a perfect Golgari commander. And I think also because I made the video about Golgari and gave her a little bit of spotlight, she got extra popular. So I'd like to take a little bit of credit there. Next up is Shroofus, which should have been Shroofus Doofus, but Shroofus Sproutsire, which is also a fun name, is really popular right now because I think, look at this guy, will be the first reason. Saplings are cute. People love saplings because they are small people that run around and act like goblins, as we see in the art as well. 5 of them are clinging to Shroofus Doofus. A lot of them are in his hand or holding his hand. They're climbing up on trees, trying to get a butterfly. There's just a bunch of stuff happening in this art. And also Shroofus can get out of control, just like his children. Shroofus makes sure that whenever a sapling you control deals combat damage to a player, you create that many 1/1 green sapling creature tokens, and that means that if you can grow them, give them all +1/+1, you will get 2 plus per sapling that deals combat damage, and all of your saplings can just get in, because if some of them are blocked and killed, many of them will sprout back to life. And I think that's just fun how this guy that looks so cute gets out of control so quickly. Next up, also a returning card because of the art, is Giada, Font of Hope. New Capenna really had some ups and downs in its popularity, but I think the story was really cool and the world feels very vibrant, and I think Giada is a key point in that story. People also just love angels and have been wanting to play it in a mono white shell, and Giada really helps with that. And I think rares get popular more easily. If they are interesting, they will, I think, be popular really quickly because they are cheaper. Now also, Giada has a really cool vibe of being the girl boss of New Capenna in the way that she has been used before, but now she's working for herself and the angels and doing good things. I think people really want a hero like that in their lives. Now the ability is really cool as well. She helps you cast angels. It's a mana dork, but also each other angel enters with extra +1 counters for each other angel you control. Now you won't have a bunch of angels usually, but there are ways to do this, and I think you're usually playing big angels, but them getting bigger makes them really strong because often they are flying. Next up is a new card, another Niv-Mizzet. This time he's a visionary. It's a big one, and they always are. This one costs 6 mana. It always is something like that, but Niv-Mizzet is really cool, and I think this is the first Niv-Mizzet commander, because Niv-Mizzet Visionary works really well with many of the staple Niv-Mizzets that we have known for so long. So the Visionary says you have no maximum hand size. Niv-Mizzet likes having no maximum hand size because often he needs to discard. And he says, most importantly, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards. So what happens? You draw a card, let's say for some reason you draw a card. That means, for example, Niv-Mizzet Perun or Niv-Mizzet the Firemind will deal 1 damage to any target. So, you deal 1 damage to any target, it's non-combat damage, so that means with Visionary you draw 1 card. And that means that the other Niv-Mizzets also trigger again and you get to deal another damage. So this is a combo, and you can combo with multiple Niv-Mizzets, which I think is really funny and therefore might be really popular. That was it for the top 10 for this month. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I wish you a very nice day.